Happy Thursday to you, everyone. I really hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to be wrapping up my little mini-series on canine nutrition. Thank goodness. I tell you what, this is kind of like one of those, hey, I took one for the team. This is one of those subjects that I just have never had a lot of interest in. Probably should, but again, I didn't. And there were a lot of subjects in school that everyone told me, you need to know this, but it didn't matter. I'm sitting there thinking, no, up to this point in my life, I haven't used it, so therefore I don't think I'm going to use it ever again. But anyway, bear with me. We're going to get to it today because today we're going to talk about GMOs. You know, I remember a few years ago, I was thinking, you know, I saw these people, they were actually outside doing some sort of protest. They're holding up these big signs, and they had no GMOs, and that's what they were shouting, no GMO, no GMO. And I remember thinking, I hate to say this, but again, this is not my forte when it comes to anything to do with dogs. It's behavior is my forte, not nutrition. So I'm sitting there thinking, what is GMO? Is that like some new make of a vehicle? Or is that, let's see, GMO, government mandated organizations? What is it? I didn't know. So of course I was curious and I went and looked it up, and sure enough, I found out what it is. And it does pertain a little bit to you feeding your dog and actually feeding yourself. So what are GMOs? They are genetically modified organisms. And what does that mean to you? Well, it means that they're in about 2/3 of all processed foods, meaning yours and your dog's. GMOs came about in 1997 to 1999, and it was fueled by a single Supreme Court ruling that allowed for the patenting of a life form to be used commercially. And man, did it take off. In fact, it is now believed that we have more crops that have GMOs in them than without it. By the middle 2000s, 2005, 2006, it is said that over 70 to 80 million acres in the United States alone had been converted from holistic crops to GMO crops. So why? Well, money. That's why. I mean, money talks and BS walks. You know that. And money fuels every darn thing on the planet. Well, it fueled farmers using GMOs, because why? Why did they use GMOs? What does that darn thing do? Well, GMOs they produce their own kind of built-in poison. Yeah, their own built-in pesticide. And so what happens is that in every cell produces a poison that when a bug eats that plant, it will split the bug's stomach wide open, gross, and kill the bug. So instead of spraying pesticides, buying those and going through all the regulations and all the equipment that you need to put pesticides on plants, well, they just put it in the cell of the plant itself. And therefore, hey, now I saved a whole lot of money doing that. Before GMOs had arrived, there had never been GMOs in a human or an animal's diet. Well, so look back on time. They've been around for a while, and yet they've still not been around long enough to determine, do they have any, if you eat a lot of GMOs, does it have long-term health consequences for you and your dog? You know, there's guesses, hypotheses that are out there right now. They're doing testing, but nothing I came across. And again, if you did, please share it with everyone out there, because I didn't. Says that they have any sort of definitive answer. Of course, what part of the body are they scrutinizing right now? Your kidneys and your liver, because those are the two major detoxification organs in your body. Everything kind of gets filtered through those. And again, they're going to look at it for your dog as well. So GMOs are out there, baby. They are out there, and they're gaining more and more popularity. More and more acres are being devoted to GMOs. But so just park in the back of your mind, genetically modified organisms, meaning that cell's been changed, it's got its own built-in pesticide, and it's used to combat the infestation and ingestion done by swarms of bugs. Saves a lot of money, keeps a lot of harmful pesticides off the plant, on the surface of the plant, but nevertheless, it's on the inside. So again, a bit of a head scratcher still, trying to figure out, is it harmful or is it not harmful? That hopefully we'll know before long. Hopefully we'll know before it's too late. I mean, gosh, you think about it. How many of us have eaten GMOs for a long darn time? I mean, my gosh, we're into what, 23, 24 years? For some of you, it might be your whole lifetime. For me, well, I still got a lot of life that was way before this. So maybe, I don't know. Let's just wait and see. But anyway, here's what you need to know if you're going to be feeding your dog. And hopefully you are. According to Dr. Michael Fox, he said pet food manufacturers that have USDA certified organic ingredients, and especially those that use no corn, soy, canola, or cotton byproducts, or sugar beet, which could be genetically engineered, or imported rice, which can be contaminated with GM rice, could legitimately claim no GMO ingredients on their packaging. Okay, so that's a pretty strict standard. If you're going to claim that, if your dog food, go look on it. If it says no GMO ingredients, then it cannot have any of those ingredients that I just mentioned a second ago. It can't have it. One thing that they also have learned for sure is that when using genetic engineering, the allergens from one food can be transferred to another, thought to be safe to eat, but unknowingly you didn't realize, you thought you were getting something that had no GMOs in it, but it actually does. And hence why he said imported rice, which can be contaminated with GM rice. Okay, other than that, guys, I don't have a whole lot more to add to about GMOs. I think when in doubt, just avoid it altogether. So therefore, go look on your food that you're feeding your dog, and if it says no GMO ingredients, then it passed the scrutiny of the USDA. And there you have it. Okay, so moving right along, let's talk about harmful things that we know are harmful. We're not guessing at it. We know it's harmful for your dog to ingest. So what are those? Well, the first one makes me laugh. Alcohol. Okay. I've thought a few times, we've got this new puppy. I love her to death. You'll see her on the videos, and if you follow our Facebook page, you've seen videos of her. You'll see many more of her coming up as I plan on documenting the first 1.5 to 2 years of her life, so everyone can watch her development and watch what I do to try and have another captain. That's what I want. I want another captain. And I want you guys to be able to see that from the minute go all the way to the end product. But I'm here to tell you, like everyone, when it comes to having a puppy, there are those moments where you just think, okay, so is alcohol really that bad? If I put just a little bit of that in your water bowl versus the water itself, would it really be that bad? And you know I'm just kidding you. No, instead, I'm the one. Why waste the darn alcohol on the dog? I'll just drink it. That certainly makes me feel better when she's wanting to howl her head off or wanting to do something all the time. So again, alcohol, don't give your dog any alcohol. And another thing is chocolate. Watch out, we've all heard about chocolate, but did you know that there's a difference between milk chocolate and your baker's chocolate, not just from taste, but from what it can do to your dog. All it takes is 1 ounce per pound of milk chocolate to create a fatal toxicity to your dog. Hear that? 1 ounce per pound. Holy moly. It wouldn't take a dog a whole lot of time to consume enough to be fatal. Watch out for those bags of candy that you got laying around the house, especially if you got kids and you got to lay it out, or if you got a sweet tooth like me. Make sure that stuff is put up. Baker's chocolate is much worse because Baker's chocolate contains an ingredient known as theobromine, and it has a high concentration of that theobromine, such that 0.1 ounce, not 1 ounce, not 1.0, but reverse it. 0.1 ounces of Baker's chocolate per pound can be fatal. So watch out when you're cooking those semi-sweet dishes and it calls for Baker's chocolate. Watch out, especially if they come in those little chips. Be careful if they fall on the floor. You got small dogs like we have. A couple of our dogs are 5 pounds. Wow, it wouldn't take very many of those chips for us to lose our dog. Again, I've told you many times, I owned a vet hospital for many years, And it was, yeah, about once a month we had two conditions always come in. You could just darn near set your watch to it. You're going to have a dog come in with chocolate toxicity, and you're going to have a dog come in who ate the entire bag of food because someone left the pantry open, and the dog consumed 30 pounds of food. And unlike a wolf that can do what's called partial regurgitation for their offspring, your dog has kind of lost that talent. And next thing you know, you can create a fatal condition in no time. Other things that are harmful for your dog, citrus. Yeah, so don't be sharing any oranges or grapefruits with your dog. Citrus, don't be lapping up orange juice, things like that. Coconut oil. Okay, I don't have to worry about that around my house. Well, I don't even know if we have any coconut oil other than what you put on you, and I don't do that because I don't get a tan. No, I go from white, very white, to red to burnt. So I just don't even bother with that. Grapes and raisins. Wow, they can cause kidney failure, and they certainly can. They can cause it like that. So again, I do love grapes. Grapes are one of my favorite, and I love raisins as well. Chocolate covered raisins. So I got the double whammy going on with my dogs. I have to be very careful when I'm eating those chocolate coated raisins. You do as well. Macadamia nuts. Who doesn't like macadamia nuts? Oh my gosh, you gotta watch out for that. Macadamia nuts can cause weakness, depression, vomiting, tremors, and hyperthermia in dogs. Temperature just goes up too high and the metabolism goes too high. Keep an eye on that. Milk and dairy. Okay, guilty. I do give my dogs cheese. I kid you not. I could open up a wrapper right here of some American single cheese, and my dogs 20 miles from here would hear it. They love cheese. And I use cheese for all sorts of training. I guess the rule there is just moderation. Keep it in moderation. Cause and effect. You give your dog a whole slice of cheese, and you now get to watch them have diarrhea for a full day. Then note to self, cut back on the full slice until maybe you find out your dog can't have cheese at all. I don't give my dogs any milk to lap up unless it's something like goat's milk, and that's really different. Goat's milk is one of those ingredients that you can add to your dog's diet if they do have an upset stomach. We've used it for years, and it works like a champ, at least with my dogs. Again, every dog is different, and so I'm just putting out general things out there. Your dog can certainly be different. Nuts. Nuts, including almonds, pecans, and walnuts, contain high amounts of oils and fats. The fats can cause vomiting and diarrhea and potentially pancreatitis in pets. Now, do know this, for most dogs, that pancreatitis condition, they need to eat a lot of nuts. But again, what contains nuts? Peanuts? Peanut butter. How many dogs love peanut butter? Oh my gosh. If you need your dog to do a cognitive shift, I mean, you're trimming its nails, you're getting messing in the ears, anything of that sort. I've done a video on that before when we had to give Dave, our Morkie, medicine in his ears, little peanut butter. I'm telling you what. Before, no peanut butter, pitch the Never Loving Fit. Give him the peanut butter, and he'd just say, I think I got another ear. I think there's something wrong with this ear over here, too. And by the way, you know, maybe my paw over here and this paw over here. In other words, he loves peanut butter. But again, you just got to keep it in moderation. Give a little bit, see what you get back. And again, monitor your dog. It's all about observing your dog. I talk about that all the time, not just to learn about your dog's behavior, but also maintain your dog's health, its well-being. Observe your dog. Pay attention to your dog. Salt and salty snack foods. God, I'm guilty again. Dang, I'm done. It's over for me, man. It's over for me and my dogs because I already told you I'm guilty as all get out on these videos because I already told you I do share an occasional French fry with Captain. Oh my gosh. Otherwise, my whole back of my seat is soaked because he's sitting there drooling. He wants a French fry because I get to do the French fry. So I do share it. I share a potato chip every now and then. But again, large amounts, thank goodness, large amounts of salt can produce excessive thirst, given, and urination, given, because if you creates thirst, so you drink a lot, well, the end result of that, the consequence of that, is urination. And even sodium ion poisoning in pets. Okay, that we never treated at my veterinary hospital. I have never heard of that. I'm sure it's happened, otherwise it would be mentioned in these studies. But that being said, I don't know. Anyway, again, in moderation. And yeast dough. Yeast dough. Yeast dough can rise and cause gas to accumulate in your pet's digestive system. Okay, I'm here to tell you right now, That's not the only thing that can cause gas to accumulate in your dog's digestive system. I'm still trying to ferret out what that is causing that to our new puppy. Because I'm telling you what, she's little. I weighed her yesterday. She's 26.4 pounds. She's not 13 weeks old yet. But I'm telling you what, the masks that we're wearing for the pandemic, they do no good in filtering out what's coming out of that little body of hers. And I guarantee you this much right now, I have not been giving her anything with yeast dough. But it does say that yeast dough can rise and cause gas to accumulate in your pet's digestive system. This can be painful and can cause the stomach to bloat and potentially twist. Okay, you gotta pay attention to that. It's called gastrointestinal bolus. You do not ever want your dog's stomach to twist, never. Even if your dog is saved, their quality of life and the length of their life is greatly diminished, greatly. You do not want that to happen. It can become a life-threatening emergency. I just told you that. The yeast will produce ethanol as a byproduct, and a dog ingesting raw bread dough can become drunk. All right, so no cookie dough for you, no raw bread dough, none of that dough stuff that's going to rise for your dogs. All right, I'm sure there's other things that are out there very harmful. I mean, I'm just talking about foods that we commonly eat as people. There were other things to add to the list, but when I looked at it, I thought, okay, I'm with dog people all the time, and I've never heard them mention that. I never heard them mention that. I never heard that mention that. You know, again, I could be on here for an hour going down a list, a scroll as long as 50 yards. The big thing is to hit on the things that your average dog owner, your practical dog owner. And again, as you heard from a lot of this stuff, moderation is the key, except for when it comes to that baker's chocolate, then that's an absolute zero. Alcohol is an absolute zero. Grapes and raisins, zero. Definitely keep an eye out on those. Just about every darn thing else, though, a little bit of moderation. Serve your dog. Get some feedback from your dog and adjust whatever you need to from there. But, you know, if we were to eliminate everything that was harmful to our dogs, why bother? Really, why bother? They probably say the same thing. Why bother? If you removed everything that is so delicious, so great, helps to take a little bit of stress off. I mean, my gosh, if they remove that from humans, again, I'm going to be the first one to ask, well, why bother? Why bother? This is about fun, guys. It's about being safe, about being, you know, being a responsible pet owner. But it's also about, hey, living life on the planet Earth. There's a lot of things that can kill you. Keep an eye on your dog. Avoid the things I told you to avoid. If you don't want to feed your dog GMOs, don't feed your dog GMOs. That's strictly up to you. And the rest goes with the rest of this Canine Nutrition mini-series. How much protein you give your dog, how much fat you give your dog, the food that you want to feed, whether it's raw, that's your business. Go for it if you wish to do so. Just be safe doing it. Same thing goes with canned food, fresh food, dry kibble. I think that in a lot of this, you kind of have to find out, A, what works for your dog, what works, what creates good stools, not a huge amount of stool volume, keeps weight on your dog, seems to work for energy-wise throughout the day on a daily basis, and then really do your research on it if you want to. But be careful. Like so many things in the pet industry, it can drive you crazy. It can cause you to become paralyzed. You know, at some point, just do something. Make an action. Even if it's the wrong action, well, you'll find out real quick and then go back and change what you're doing. Just go for it. All right, guys, that wraps up Canine Nutrition. Thank goodness. You owe me one. I took this for the team. All right, tomorrow I'm going to demonstrate a little bit of puppy stuff. Probably use my own puppy. How many of you get a little puppy between 10 weeks and about 14 weeks of age? Got those sharp little teeth. Trying to walk your puppy, trying to teach a little bit of walking, and all they want to do is grab you by your leg, your pants legs, or anything you've got dangling off of you, or maybe a leash is hanging out of your pocket or whatever. Shoot, they just grab it, and they grab really hard with those sharp little teeth. What do you do about that? I mean, come on, there's got to be something you can do. Well, that's currently happening right now with Castell, our puppy, to a degree. And I'll show you tomorrow what I recommend that you do about that so that you can move forward with your puppy. And then this weekend, plan on it 3 days, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, which are really pretty much the last 3 days of the 365. I will be talking about canine pharmacotherapy, about dogs suffering from psychiatric disorders, very similar to humans. What can we do about it? Do we give up on them? or do we save them? So tune in for that, guys. All right, enjoy the rest of your Thursday. As always, be safe, be well. Enjoy feeding your dog. We all do. We love it. I love it. Even though I love mixing up those bowls, I love watching them dive into it. Have fun doing it. Just keep an eye on your dog. Watch out for some of the stuff I told you about today.